The sun was setting over the crowded streets of the city, painting long shadows over cracked sidewalks and abandoned storefronts. 10-year-old Malik clutched the small, empty bottle in his hands, his heart hammering. His little sister, barely a year old, cried softly in the blanket he wrapped around her, and his stomach knotted at the thought of her going hungry tonight. He had searched every corner, every alley, asking for coins, food, anything that could buy her a simple bottle of milk, but the city was harsh and unforgiving. No, he received weighed heavier than the last, until finally, he noticed a sleek black car glinting under the evening light, parked outside a fancy hotel. From the tinted windows emerged a sharply dressed man, his gold watch catching the sunlight, a walking emblem of wealth and power. Malik approached him cautiously, every instinct screaming that this man lived in a world far away from the pain of the streets, but hope pushed him forward. "Sir, please, my sister, she's hungry, I swear I'll pay you when I grow up," Malik begged, his voice trembling. The man froze for a moment, clearly unprepared for such raw honesty and courage from a boy who smelled of dust and struggle. Around them, the crowd paused, some scoffing, others secretly moved, but Malik's eyes didn't leave the man's. They were full of a promise and a challenge to see the world through the eyes of a child forced to grow up too soon. The millionaire, whose name was Jonathan Carmichael, felt something stir in him that he hadn't in years: guilt, nostalgia, and a sense of responsibility. He had built his empire on money and influence, but seeing Malik standing there, trembling yet unyielding, reminded him of someone he used to know, someone who looked a lot like himself in his youth. Against his better judgment, Jonathan bent down, reached into his designer coat, and handed Malik a crisp bill, not just enough for milk, but enough for several days of food. Malik's eyes widened, tears threatening to spill. Thank you, sir. I swear, I'll pay you back," he whispered, clutching the money as if it were a treasure from another world. But as Malik turned to run, the city around him seemed to shift. A group of shady men who had been lurking nearby noticed the transaction, and their eyes glinted with opportunity. Malik's small act of hope had just attracted danger, and the once distant city became suddenly close and threatening. Malik ran down the alleyways, his sister in his arms, his heart pounding not just with urgency but fear. He didn't notice that Jonathan had followed him, stepping lightly over puddles and trash, his expensive shoes surprisingly quiet. Malik reached a small, run-down apartment where his mother lay sick in bed, her hands shaking as she tried to comfort him. He handed her the money and whispered that he had everything under control. But that control shattered moments later when the shady men appeared at the doorway, demanding the cash. Malik froze, knowing that if they saw the money, it would vanish in seconds, leaving his sister and mother defenseless. In a flash of courage and instinct beyond his years, Malik made a decision. He tossed the money through the open window to the street where Jonathan, who had anticipated the danger, caught it just in time. "Run," Jonathan shouted, and for the first time, Malik realized that the stranger wasn't just a passerby, he was now part of their story. Together, they navigated the twisting alleys, the millionaire discovering the grit and bravery that the boy possessed, qualities that money had never bought. In the safety of a nearby cafe, Malik finally caught his breath and explained everything: how his father had abandoned them, how his mother worked double shifts just to survive, and how he had vowed that no matter what, his sister would never go hungry. Jonathan listened, quietly shaking his head, realizing that this boy's resilience was something he had forgotten existed in the polished boardrooms he ruled. Yet danger was far from gone. The shady men were more determined than ever, and soon Jonathan realized that helping Malik meant putting his own empire and reputation at risk. But a strange bond had formed. A boy who had nothing to lose, and a man who had everything, yet somehow, neither could walk away. Over the next few weeks, Jonathan became a silent guardian. He arranged for Malik's mother to receive medical care and food assistance, while Malik himself went to school, carrying a mixture of embarrassment and pride over the millionaire's attention. Slowly, Malik learned that trust could be a weapon and a shield, and Jonathan discovered that kindness could rekindle something long buried in his heart. But the city was still harsh, and the shady men did not give up easily. They tried to manipulate Malik, offering him temptations and bribes, each more sinister than the last. Malik's response was fierce and surprising. Using the money Jonathan gave him wisely, he bought small gifts for his classmates and even saved a little to start a tiny street lemonade business, proving to himself and everyone around that he was capable of turning desperation into opportunity. The final twist came when Jonathan received a phone call from his board of directors, warning him about a new investment deal jeopardized by public attention to a street incident. Most would have walked away, but Jonathan saw the bigger picture. Malik's courage had ignited something in him that no money could ever buy: purpose. He publicly supported Malik, launching a community program that would help street children, giving them education, meals, and hope. Malik, now famous in the local news and social media, finally realized that his simple plea for milk had sparked a change far greater than he could imagine. The boy who promised, "I'll pay you when I grow up," had not only touched a millionaire's heart but had changed the lives of countless children who, like him, once felt invisible. Closing subscribe request for the video. If Malik's courage gave you chills, imagine what other stories we have waiting for you. Hit that subscribe button now and join our journey of hope, courage, and jaw-dropping twists you won't see coming.